Hello and welcome to another driving vlog by an Amazon seller. Terrible intro, but whatever. It's a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful day. We've got loads of motorcyclists out, loads of people out driving. The sun's out, 19 degrees apparently. It feels warmer, but yeah, what a great day. So, we're in June now, guys. So how did May go for me? Well, May went really well. I made... STK says 11,600, but obviously once we take off expenses and all the things like that, you know, those STK numbers aren't 100% accurate. It came down to about £9,463 in profit after all expenses. So yeah, maybe knock off the 400 maybe, just for some other stuff that I've maybe forgotten about, or, you know, things like that. But yeah, it's got £9,000 basically, so not too bad. Can't complain about that whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic month. Not my best month. I've had 2 months that have been better than that. I think my best month ever was 14k, which isn't too bad, but yeah, it's still pretty good overall. Can't complain about that. And I also managed to mostly clear out my office as well, which was a goal of mine. You know, extracting myself from the business, something I'll talk about a bit more about in a bit anyway. But yeah, overall very happy with the month basically. So onwards and upwards. I did lose one of my really good replens, unfortunately. That's probably worth about, I'd say, £5,000 a month profit for me, which is a bit of a bummer, which kind of sucks, but there we go. It's part and parcel of the game. I'm going to try and figure out a way to get it back if I can, but I got a warning from the place that I ordered it from, and they said, that's it, you've had your limit now, you've ordered too many, you spent nearly 200 grand this year on it, 150k, maybe 200k, something like that. It's at least 150, it's between 150 and 200 on this product, and they basically said that enough's enough basically. You can carry on, keep an account on our website, but you're not allowed to order that product anymore. So actually, out of all, like, obviously I'm very disappointed by that. At least they were polite about it. You know, sometimes I've done orders on places, and, you know, even just ordering like 10 or 20 units, and you get a very rude, nasty, threatening email from them, and they're going to sue you and all this kind of nasty stuff. They're going to block your account, and at least, you know, this was actually a fairly polite email saying you can continue order from us, but you just can't order this product anymore, and if you do, then we will cancel you. So, you know, I like that. I think that's fine, you know. I'm still going to try and bypass it, but at least they did it nicely. So yeah, I watched an interesting video yesterday. I can't remember who it was. This guy's a fairly new YouTuber, but he seems to have a very big Amazon FBA wholesale channel, which he's just started out. He's a new YouTuber, but he's just started out good luck, I can't talk today. He's a 7-figure Amazon wholesale seller in the UK, but he's just started doing YouTube. Right, there we go. Got it right. Okay. One of the things he was talking about is setting up good systems, so that essentially Amazon doesn't become your job. And this is exactly what's happened to me, basically, and it's hopefully a good lesson for some of you guys. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with having a job that pays $100,000 a year, and creating your own job, or whatever money it makes you. But yeah, essentially, if you don't put systems in place, like I haven't, although I am working on now, what you essentially do is, create yourself a job, and even though you are a limited company, essentially you're just a sole trader, if that makes sense. You know, you can't go anywhere without the company stopping. You know, work all stops. Like if I go on holiday for 2 weeks now, sourcing stops, everything stops basically. Purchasing stops, prepping stops, maybe not quite prepping, but because I'm using a prep center now, but you get the point I'm making. Yeah, that's why I think it's really good to put systems in place and hire people. And essentially what he talked about, I can't remember the guy's name, I'll link down below, check him out. I'm very skeptical when I see other YouTubers and things like that, because I'm like, you know, just like probably people think about me, am I some sort of scammer? Am I like stretching the truth? Blah, blah, blah. This guy seemed legit, to be fair, from what I could tell. Just listening to his video, he seemed to know what he's talking about, which was good. So, and guys, God, I mean, I'm on now TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, yeah, those three. I'm not a big social media person, guys. I don't really consume social media. The only thing I do is watch YouTube videos. But anyway, I've spent a bit more time on these platforms, posting mostly, but I watched like 15 minutes of Instagram one time, and the amount of like scams and stuff like on there that like people promising you can make 100k a week and all this kind of bullshit. My God, it was crazy. Yeah, so it's interesting because obviously I don't want people to think that about me, basically. I'm being 100% real here, guys. But they might get that impression, just because 99% of people out there are scammers and you're the 1% that's not, it's hard to get through. Anyway, so yeah, one thing, he talked about quite a few concepts. One was like obviously setting up the system so that you don't essentially turn this Amazon thing into your Amazon business into a job. You keep it as an Amazon business. You hire people. You are basically taking all those tasks that anyone can do, like admin or prepping or whatever, really, low value tasks, low skill tasks, let's just say, and making sure that you're not wasting your time on those, which is what we all do when we start out, to be honest. It's fine to do those yourself. I'm actually a big believer in you doing those yourself first so you can know how to do them, but then obviously passing them on to other people. So yeah, that's obviously what I've been working on, clearing out my apartment. It's nice to watch the video like that, basically, because that's what I'm concentrating on right now. I'm trying to basically extract myself from the business so that when I go traveling, the business is still going to go. If I take a week off and relax, the business is still going to continue to go. So, and how does that work? It means offloading admin tasks, it means offloading prep, it means offloading purchasing and sourcing, essentially. So all that stuff continues without you, basically. So now, obviously, these are just something to keep in mind. If you're a new big Amazon seller, then you don't want to be thinking too much about these, but it's always good to keep them in mind, I suppose. And obviously, as a new seller, probably the first thing you want to outsource probably is prep, I'd say, because that'll give you more time to source. But yeah, so that's probably the first thing I'd say in terms of ordering of like what you'd outsource to other people and pass off would be probably, prepping first and then admin. And then after those two are done, and this is essentially the process that I'm going through. I'm going through Prep Center now, not prepping myself. I'm then going to get another admin VA to do all my admin for me. Then I'm going to look at, getting some... I've already got one sourcing VA, probably getting some more sourcing VAs again, getting back into this. And then eventually promoting those guys to purchasing as well. So all of the business basically can be run by other people, while I'm just overwatching, essentially, and doing things like sourcing myself, other new products, whatever. So, yeah, interesting stuff anyway. Good video. I'll link it below. So what are my goals this month? Well, I need to do some more sourcing, guys. I need to be finding some more products. Now that I've lost this replan, I may or may not be able to get that back. And if I do get it back, it'll only be on a temporary basis, I imagine. Because probably red flags have been posted up on this. Yeah, trying to source some new products, basically, I think. I've not, honestly, been sourced in quite a while. I've been pretty much living off my replans for the most part. I have had some new products come in, mostly Amazon to Amazon stuff, but yeah, I've not done much sourcing myself for a long time, actually, just because I've been fairly happy with what I've been making, and it's all been coming mostly from the replan stuff. So I got into that point where I was able to not worry too much about finding new products. Now, obviously, you'll probably notice in my results that they were all pretty much, every month was fairly similar. January to February to March to April, to May. Now, obviously, it did get an increase, but I think that was mainly because of, January's slower than May, basically, and obviously, as the months go throughout the year, you get more sales. And, of course, as well, signing up to Profit Protector Pro as well, I think has helped me gain some more profit. But yeah, so this month, anyway, I just need to continue to clear out my apartment, is one of my goals. Get my YouTube studio set up. I'm going on holiday for a week, so that's going to be a week off, basically. I'll still be working during that week, but I'm kind of going for a wedding, taking a week off, got a nice villa and stuff. I'm going to be hanging out in the pool, relaxing, So I really wanted a pool. I went a bit OTT, guys. Like, I'm not one of these people that spends a huge amount of money on things, but I've not been on a holiday in a while. So I thought, since I'm going for this wedding anyway to Mallorca, I was like, oh, I'll book the week. And then I was looking at Airbnbs and stuff like that. And I was like, I really fancy getting a pool, you know, having my own pool. I didn't really want to go down the beach every day because I wanted to be able to, like, just relax, maybe do some work, answer some Discord stuff while sat in the water, listen to audiobooks, you know, things like that, basically. Do some videos and things like that. So I booked myself a villa. It was very expensive. And basically it comes to, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do like a video of it. I'm not really into like flexing shit, but maybe I'll do a video. You might be interested, I don't know. But yeah, it's a £10,000 a month villa. So it was not too bad. I'm obviously only staying there for a week. So, but yeah, that's what I booked to treat myself. But I'm still going to work there. I wonder if I can expense that now. No, probably not. But yeah, I plan on working there still, guys. No rest for the wicked. And yeah, but yeah, that's kind of goals this month as well, basically. So I want to, you know, I don't think I'll be able to maintain the 10,000 profit a month without sourcing some new products. So now that I've lost that replen. So yeah, I saw some great results, guys, posted. So, you know, for those of you that are in other Discord groups, you know, they do like the success post that you do and you can win like a free month or whatever. And you see some of the results, guys, people post. Like I posted mine for like 11.5 or whatever. You know, but one of the guys who owns one of the groups posted like 24,000 profit. You know, probably after all expenses and stuff, probably comes down to like 18 or something maybe. Who knows? But yeah, crazy amount of money to be making. I want that to be me basically at some point. I asked in my Discord, so guys, I have a free Discord group for any of you that are new here. I appreciate you coming on and watching. It's for FBA sellers who want to get into Amazon or who are already selling on Amazon. You can come out and hang out, ask me questions, I can help you, all that fun stuff. But yeah, this morning, I just put out a message saying, what do you guys want me to talk about in my driving vlog? So I'm always happy to give that information, guys. Basically, give out 99% of the knowledge. If you say to me, what items do you sell, Simon? I'm going to say, I'm not going to tell you. If you ask me what categories I sell, I'm not going to tell you. But beyond that, pretty much, I'm happy to tell you anything. I even show my finances. I don't care about hiding that stuff. Unless I've got some sort of contractual obligation where I can't. So, yeah, and one of the questions was, if I remember off the top of my head, just talking about RA, like what are my best RA stores and things like that. So, guys, I'll be honest, I don't do a huge amount of RA right now. In the past, my best stores overall were probably like Tesco's, Asda, Sainsbury's, to be honest, the three big ones. Like, you know, I've got a load of Lego from Tesco in the past. I've had a bunch of stuff from Asda, like a lot of home stuff from Asda, like kettles and toasters and stuff. Sainsbury's is really good as well for bits and bobs here and there. Not too much Lego from Sainsbury's, but those kind of three ones. But guys, like, I mean, when I do RA, I'm pretty lazy, to be quite honest with you. There are so many other stores, like B&M is a big one. There's Farm Foods. There's so many of these places that, you know, most people don't go to. But I'm not a big RA guy. If you want to do RA, join Mental Picks. Link in description. You can get a 30% off your first month. That is the best Discord group on the internet right now, guys. It's really good for RA and good for OA, but it's really good at RA. That's the main thing. So yeah, if you want to learn how to do retail arbitrage, RA, then that's the group to be in. But yeah, I'm not. I go on and off RA basically. Right now, I just don't have the time to do it. For me, I mean, it's really bad actually, guys. Like, I'm passing up, like, decent money doing, from RA. Like, I had like £100 profit sat in a waiting for collection actually from me from a store. It was basically a guaranteed £100 profit, but I had to drive for like 40 minutes to get it. 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back, and I passed up on it, which is nuts, really. I mean, I really should have gone and got it. That was pretty stupid of me. I'm not going to lie. I do pass up on opportunities, but not normally ones that where it's like £100 profit. Like if it was 10, 20, 30 quid. But yeah, to be fair, it kind of broke. Yeah, actually, no, it did. So basically, a while back, I came up with a rule for retail arbitrage. I said to myself, I need to be making £50 an hour doing retail arbitrage. So with that one, I guess technically it would have broken that rule, because 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. Although I would have potentially been able to source some other stuff there. You know, Smith's is another good store you can get some good items from. So, you know, I suppose it would have made sense to actually go and get those items. So it was a pretty silly not to, but I was just being too busy. I've also been trying to clear out my apartment, not add more stock into it. So, yeah, annoying thing happened, guys. I did an Amazon to Amazon the other day. And weirdly, it came from another retailer, the item I bought. And they sent it to my billing address, not my delivery address. So I got it sent to the prep centre. And they just totally messed it up somehow and sent it to my billing address, which doesn't bode well for me going travelling and renting out my apartment. And one of the things we're going to talk about, guys, one of the questions someone asked me was about diversifying income and things like that. And I guess what are my income sources and things like that. So I love talking about that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Once we get back on the road here. They've got a guy manually doing the bloody traffic lights. Good Lord. Out in the sun. But yeah. Yeah, RA, not an expert. But yeah, I think it's always good to try and set yourself a minimum hourly rate, I guess. So if you see a ping come up and it's like, you can only get one of these and it's not enough money, you can only make maybe £10 an hour, £20 an hour. I mean, only you can decide what that hourly rate is. And that £50 an hour thing I set was like a year ago. So for now, without sounding like a douchebag, my hourly rate's probably gone up a little bit, to be honest. Probably more like 75 or something. I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling, really. If it's a nice day, it's sunny outside, and I'm feeling in a good mood, then maybe, you know, I'll be willing to go out more than if it's rainy and miserable. Anyway. So yeah, one of the other questions was... from someone, quite a specific question here, was like, they're saying they've got, and forgive me if I've got this slightly wrong because I'm doing it from memory, about they spent £8,000 on Pokemon investments, and it's now converted into about £15,000 is roughly what they could sell it for. I assume that's before like fees and stuff, but let's just say it's 15k. Nice job. Okay, cool. They're holding it for a long-term investment. And they want to know, I guess, if they should sell it or, you know, keep it, or what should they do, put it into Amazon? I mean, my response, I've got a few responses to this. Firstly, I have speculated in Pokemon in the past. So it's not an investment, by the way. It is pure speculation, Pokemon. It's not a market you can really invest in, but maybe that's a bit, not nitpicky, but... a controversial topic. There's a channel I watch called Reserved Investments. This guy talks about this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's speculation, basically. That is not an established market, especially newer Pokemon. Older Pokemon, I think you could argue, is a more established market. But yeah, if it's like the newer products, then it's not investment as far as I'm concerned. It's more speculation. But my opinion on this is, look, bank your profits now. Absolutely. You know, I'm not an expert on Pokemon, but my understanding is it's on a bit of a tear right now. I would bank that profit, because, like, realistically, let's say we've got £15,000 of value right now. What are you hoping it's going to be in a year? Realistically, are we expecting it to go up 20? Let's say it goes up 20%, which, you know, as an investment, if we're calling it that, is a really good ROI. So we've now gone from 15,000 to 18,000, and, you know, again, pretty good from an investment point of view. But if you put that 15,000 into Amazon, you could probably churn that 4 times in a year, maybe. Realistically, let's call it 3 times in a year. Okay, at, let's say, I say, you know, 30% ROI, but let's be conservative and say you can churn this 3 times in a year, as long as you've got the products to buy, of course. You can churn this 3 times in a year, 20% a time. So what's 20% of 15k? That's £3,000. And let's assume we don't even reinvest the profits. Let's say we're just churning the 15k 3 times. Well, that's £9,000. That doesn't even include me adding on not the interest, but the money we made on the first one. I mean, your 15k technically turns into 18k, and then it technically is 20% of 18k, which is 3,600. And then, then you're doing it again. But yeah, we'll just call it basically £3,000 every time. And yeah, so from that point of view, for me, it seems like a no-brainer. However, obviously, this is a fairly simplistic view. You have to have enough products to buy, I guess, to, there's no point putting it into Amazon business if you haven't got 15 grand worth of stuff to buy. Let's put it like that. However, there are loads of Amazon deals. There's Prime Day coming up fairly soon. You probably won't be able to clear it in time for Prime Day, to be honest, but that is a day where you can spend 15 grand on Amazon, no problem, and you'll certainly get 30%, 40%, 50% ROI on that stuff right away. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm a big believer in diversifying your income, but at the same time, I'm also a big believer in focus. So it's good to diversify income, because obviously you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But at the same time, you kind of need to focus on one thing, build it up to a good level, and then worry about other things, rather than trying to do 2, 3, 4 things and build them up at the same time. So it's like you wouldn't start 4 businesses in one time. It'd be silly. You might have an end goal in 5 years of having 4 businesses that run, but what you do is you start with one business, you get to the point where it's making 5, 10, 15, 20 grand a month or whatever it does. Once it's at that point, you maybe hire someone to run it, do the day-to-day, blah, blah, blah. Then you start your second one, do the same thing. You don't start all 4 at once, because then you're splitting your time 4 ways. It's just silly. So, yeah, anyway. And when it comes to actually investing money, for me, and I'm talking about true investments here, for me, there's nothing better than an index fund, basically, the stock market index fund. So I put my money into Vanguard. I put my, I've got an index, I put it into the index fund on Vanguard, basically. So 100%, and you can do this through ISA as well, so it's tax-free. But yeah, 100% stocks and shares, Vanguard, ISA, essentially. Because the stock market's the only way to really make money in the long term, and it's an index fund as well, so it's across dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of companies. You shouldn't invest in individual companies in the stock market. You should always do index funds. But yeah, so focus on Amazon, in my opinion. That's what I did. I had some Pokemon investments, if you want to call it that. Even I said it wrongly there. It was the Pokemon, the original Celebrations UPC one, which I did okay on. Let's put it like that. I had 20 or 30 of them. I bought some of them too expensive, but I did well on them in the long run anyway. So, but, they were sat around taking up space. And I was like, you know what? I'm better off taking that money and just putting it into an Amazon. So it comes down to the point of like, are you going to become like a speculator, or are you going to be a flipper? I actually got offered some Lego recently for 9 or 10 grand from a friend of mine online. But he was like, to be honest, he was asking a little bit too much. It was more of a long-term hold. Like, I'm talking long-term, like at least a couple of years. I was just like, you know what? If I was a Lego investor, yeah, I'd buy this. But I'm not a Lego investor anymore. I'm an Amazon seller. I don't speculate extremely long term now on a lot of this stuff. For me, the most I want to hold something really is a year. And yeah, I will hold some stuff if I'm getting it for a great deal. But when you start holding stuff, you've got storage and insurance and all this kind of rubbish. So yeah, you want to really kind of focus on what your actual goal is, basically. Are you an Amazon seller where you're flipping items, you're churning items, or are you a speculator? And for my opinion, I think you're better off being an Amazon seller, personally. So once you start making good money on Amazon, this is why I like Amazon, by the way, guys, because you can make essentially what is quick money I wouldn't say it's easy money, but it's quick money. You can get to the point where you're making 10, 20, 30,000 pound a month, okay? Get your business going, try and get it on somewhat autopilot. There's no such thing as an autopilot Amazon business, but get to the point where you're making good money from Amazon, okay? And I'm going to do a whole video about talking about this, my plans and what you should do with Amazon, in my opinion. But yeah, essentially get to the point where you're making 10, 20, 30,000 pound a month, and then funnel that money into other things, basically, other investments, other speculations or whatever, other businesses. So, and then you can build income streams from that. Now, the classic one a lot of people do, a lot of big Amazon sellers do, is put their money into property. It's just because it's safer, I guess. You extract some money out of Amazon, which adds a security level. You get some rental income coming in. And yeah, basically it's a good long-term investment, basically, that is, in property, and gives you some income. But yeah, in terms of what I've got, by the way, guys, I know I've talked about this before, but we'll talk about it now. I don't know if I'll go into like massive detail, but so what have I got? So obviously I run my Amazon business. Before that, I was a software engineer. I have 2 properties, guys. One that I live in, and one that I rent out. Well, I don't really rent it out. My brother lives in it right now. I used to Airbnb it. My brother's staying in it right now. Eventually, because he sold his house, eventually when he gets a new house, I'll rent it out. So right now, it just doesn't bring any income in. It's just my brother's living in it. But I've got those 2 properties. I own them outright. So no mortgage payments, thank God. They're 2 apartments, by the way, which have their own problems. Like service charges, ground rent, stuff like that. So yeah, but Airbnb was a nice income, to be fair, but that's now kind of ended. Maybe I'll start it up again in the future, but probably not. And what else have I got? Obviously got the Amazon business as well. That's essentially my main income sources, I suppose. I've obviously started up the YouTube stuff, the social stuff, the Discord, things like that. I won't go into exact figures, because I'm not really allowed to, but let's just say it brings in over 1,000 a month right now, basically, which is actually insane when you think about how big my channel is. But I think it's because I'm giving value to people, so hopefully I'm helping people. That's my goal, really. I am trying to build it up as an income stream, I'm not going to lie. That is definitely one of my goals, is to get to the point where my social media stuff, my Discord, and essentially my social online presence brings me in a really, really nice income, along with doing Amazon. But at the same time, my goal is also to help people. I want to, I've kind of got this thing in my mind that I want to try and get like 1,000 people to, £10,000 a month, or 100 people to a full-time income on Amazon, something like that. I'm not, one of my sort of goals is to try and, to help people transform their lives. I think Amazon's a great mechanism for that, where you can essentially you can quit your 9 to 5 and, make a good living, and make more than a good living. I know some guys that started, there's one guy who started a year before me, making 300-400k a year now. He's now become a tax resident of Dubai because he makes so much money. He's trying to avoid, he's avoiding the tax now, basically, because he's now a tax resident of Dubai. So you can make insane money on Amazon. But yeah, that's kind of one of my goals, really. So yeah, in May, I think I made roughly around, £1,100-1,200 from, YouTube, essentially, which isn't too bad. Before taxes, all that kind of fun stuff. Probably got some expenses to take off that as well, but yeah, so anyway, not too bad, let's put it like that, considering I've only got 2,000 subscribers. But like I say, I put that down to the fact that I'm helping people. Hopefully people appreciate that and they give back, basically, by watching my channel, using my affiliate links and things like that. So one thing I noticed, by the way, guys, I really need to make I'm probably going to do it for free or cheap, but I need to actually make a really good beginner's guide, or beginner, intermediate, and I suppose advanced guide, but like a course, essentially, helping people get into Amazon and scale their business and stuff. Something I can record, like an actual proper series of videos, probably for my YouTube channel, a series and from a proper syllabus to help people get into Amazon. But yeah, anyway, going back to so I'm a big believer in the income streams, and then what are my other plans to build up other income streams? So right now I'm focusing massively on social media stuff, but I plan on also making money from software as well. I'm going to be getting back more into the software. I built amazseller.com. I run it 100% free. I've got people out there using it. They seem to enjoy it. I need to work on it a bit more. It's a little bit stale right now. I need to add some more features. But yeah, essentially I've got that. I've got a bunch more software ideas, so I'm going to be going into that. And the goal is to try and build up some good softwares that people like. And ideally there'll be a subscription fee attached to that. And then eventually I can sell that business. So that's the only there's many upsides to an Amazon business. There are some downsides. I talk about them fairly regularly. But yeah, one being you can't sell the business. Two being that you're beholden to Amazon. They can just shut you down tomorrow. It's very rare, but it's something to keep in mind. And three, if you're not careful, I suppose you're going to just build yourself a job rather than a business, which is still fine, to be honest, if you're happy with that. But yeah, I'm a big believer. And then one of the questions was, if I'd start again and I had a 9 to 5, how would I do it to try and quit? And I guess quit the 9 to 5 and go full-time Amazon. I mean, it's an interesting one. If your goal is to try and quit your 9 to 5 as quickly as possible, then I'd be spending as much time as possible sourcing after and before work. So as soon as I came back from work, I'd be basically getting some dinner and then doing hardcore sourcing all evening. Depends how much you want to quit your job. You obviously need the capital, but yeah, you go as hard or as little as you want really on this thing. I think you can, if you start with, it's difficult to say really, if you start with £10,000 capital and you go hardcore sourcing, doing retail arbitrage, doing online arbitrage. I mean, retail arbitrage is the best way to get those big ROI items in. It's probably the best way to do it if you want to quit your job quickly. Get the RA stuff done, get really good at RA, be on every opportunity. As soon as you buy the stuff, get it ready to pack same day, get it sent into Amazon, get your money. Basically, the whole goal here is to churn your money as quickly as possible for as much money as possible, to the point where you've got enough money coming in from Amazon to go full time. You obviously need to set yourself a goal. What minimum monthly payment do you need from Amazon to quit your job? Is it £2,000 a month? Is it £3,000 a month? So kind of set that. Let's say you need £2,000 a month. Once you're making that, you can quit your job. Right, cool. So what I'd say then is make sure your Amazon business is maybe making double that, maybe £4,000 a month. So that way you've got money going in for growth and you've got enough to pay yourself. And then basically do whatever you need to do as quickly as possible to build that up. So realistically, if you need to make £4,000 a month and you've got, you're doing 30% ROI, what is that? Testing my math here. Like £12,000 you need in capital, but that's assuming you churn it every single month. Realistically, you're probably going to need more like 20 to 25,000, I'd say, for make 4,000 a month. Depends how quickly you're churning your items, I guess. And I guess the other thing as well is, like right now, I've got a decent amount of capital. So when I buy an item, I'm happy to hold it for 2, 3, 4, 6 months. God, I've even got some that I'm holding for a long time, longer than that, not by choice though. But I'm happy to hold out for that maximum profit. But you might want to take a lower profit just so you can get it back and then churn the money into something else. And this is something you need to think about, guys. It might be better to take sometimes a 20% ROI if you can get that money quicker than waiting 2 months to get 30% ROI. Because in theory, you could get that 20% ROI, get that money back into your bank account, buy another item for 20% ROI, and get it sold. And in that same space of time, rather than selling something once for 30%, you've sold it twice. I'm driving, guys, so forgive my hand gestures here. You sold it twice for 40%, 20% times 2. And this is where it, you know, a lot of people, and I'm a big fan of doing private label, although guys, I don't do it myself yet. I need to get into it. I've been just so distracted with other things. But yeah, people say, like, private label, they post their big ROIs, okay, like, I don't know, 50, 60, let's say they're doing 60% ROI, okay? What they don't say, though, and that's great, by the way, you know, even some people post even more, like, okay, but yeah, let's say they're getting 60% ROI on their item after advertising costs, after everything, basically. Fantastic. What they don't mention, though, is it took 4 or 5 months to get that money. Well, let's say 3 months, okay? Because when they ordered it from China, it was on a shipping container that, let's say they ordered £10,000 worth of items. They're hoping to make, let's say, 50% ROI. Or we said 60%, didn't we, I think? Yes. So they spent £10,000, okay? They're hoping to make £6,000 profit on that, okay? But that £10,000 was sat in a shipping container for 3 months. Then it landed in the UK. Then it got sent into Amazon. So by the time that item got sent to Amazon, and let's say, I'm assuming, by the way, you can sell them overnight, basically. Let's, for simplicity purposes, say we can sell them overnight. So we get them sent in from China, 3 months. They get sent into Amazon, and they get sold all units get sold overnight, and the money comes back to you. Generally, I'd say let's just round up to 4 months, basically. So it took you 4 months to turn £10,000 into £6,000 profit. Great, okay, that's really good. But with retail or online arbitrage, you could, although it's very difficult to do it with £10,000, let's say you find a great online arbitrage deal, you could spend that £10,000 on a 30% ROI item, okay? You get that in, you send it in, and again, we're going to say we can sell it overnight, because that's what we did with with our example with the private label. We can get it sent in. Let's say in a month's time, we can turn that £10,000 into 30%, which is £3,000, okay? And then we do it all again in another month. Well, going based on those figures, obviously this is a very simplistic, idealistic situation we're talking about here. But essentially, what I'm saying is you could have churned your money with a lower ROI. Even if we roll it down to 20% ROI, so your £10,000 then turns into £2,000. If you do that 4 times in that 4 months, well, you end up with £8,000 profit. So you've actually made more money churning items faster at a lower ROI than churning them for a longer time at a higher ROI. Essentially, is what that whole 10-minute rant was. My point, basically. So sometimes you are better off churning things, quicker, essentially. So, and that's, again, goes back to that point with that Pokemon we were talking about. You're saying you got 15 grand worth of Pokemon. Realistically, what's that going to turn into a year? 18,000 maybe. But you're better off taking that 15,000, churning it 3-4 times in a year, than making way more money. So, yeah, anyway, that's my opinion on that anyway. So, I'm not saying don't do private label because it takes longer. I'm just pointing out that one thing. I think private label still is the way to go. Mainly, not because of the ROIs, not because of the profits. The main thing I like about private label is that if you build a brand, you can sell it. That's what it all comes down to. Selling it at the end of the day. Cool. So I've ranted on for quite a while about stuff. But yeah, let's talk about a little bit. I'm going to do a whole video more structured about this. But what are my goals in Amazon and life and business? I guess. Well, it's business, Amazon and business, not life. I'm not going to talk about that kind of rubbish. But yeah, and I'll do a whole video about this. But let's just talk about that briefly before we round up this video. For me, Amazon is the quick money. Amazon, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage is the fast money. Build that up to £20,000 to £30,000 a month. Okay? This is a business I can't sell. When I stop, it stops. Okay? Now, yes, I'm going to get some employees back on. They're going to help me run the business. So if I go on holiday for 2 weeks, it still runs. But essentially, that business, when I retire, I can't sell it. It's done, basically. I can maybe pass it on to someone and say, here's a gift for you. Maybe get a nominal amount. Maybe when I say, maybe you could sell it, but not for much. Really not much at all. 10 grand maybe or something like that. You know, even then, essentially what you're doing is selling the systems. Maybe the replens you can sell. If you've got some good replens, maybe they could be valuable-ish. But we're not talking much. We're talking 10, 20,000 at most. Nothing, peanuts in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, Amazon FBA, OARA. Wholesale, maybe as well, you can put into this category as well. That's the top of the pyramid, okay? This is the fast, the quick, the easy money that you get from Amazon. But is it a long-term strategy? In my opinion, no. You can do it long-term if you want, but I think you get sick of it. You're better off putting your efforts into other things. It's an entry-level business, basically, which is a great thing, by the way. Not knocking that whatsoever. It's a great business. It's a great entry-level business. You can learn a lot about business as well. That's the main thing. Doing Amazon, and make lots of money doing it. Right, and then what do? Then you funnel that money into the next businesses further down the pyramid, okay? So for me, that is, you know, when I get to 20, 30,000 a month, that is hiring people maybe to help me write some code for some software. Now, I can code it myself, but I'm busy with other things right now. That is maybe starting a private label brand. I'm basically transitioning my money, which is now, right now, is very fast and easy, and what's the other word I'm thinking of? We'll just call it fast and easy for now, into a slower but a bigger payout potential thing. So yeah, that's now private label, which might make less money, and it probably will make way less money than doing my online arbitrage and retail arbitrage for a very long time, but it's sellable at the end of the day. And then, you know, a year or so before I decide to try and sell the business, let's say I build up a private label brand, I don't know, some sort of supplement brand or whatever it is, basically, okay? And let's say I'm investing all my money into it, trying to get sales, advertising, I've got employees, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Let's say it's only making, I don't know, £20,000 a month profit. You know, a year before, I'll stop the advertising as much, hopefully try and build up as much profit as possible, and then try and sell it for a multiple. I mean, ideally, hopefully it's making more than $20,000 a month, but you can sell private label brands for big money, basically. So, not big money, but decent money. So if you can get it to the point where it's making, I don't know, let's say £50,000 a month, for example, you can probably sell that business for, I don't know, 200, 300,000 maybe. Probably, I don't know, actually, I'm trying to think what the multiples are with private label. I feel like, no, it's, oh God. Yeah, I think it's like 2 years profit, basically, I think. So, yeah, if you're making... exactly. What am I talking about, guys? Bloody hell. Okay. If you're making £50,000 a month, sorry. God, I'm totally an idiot here. Right. Let's be more realistic. You're making £20,000 a month from your business, okay? That's £240,000 a year profit, okay? What can you then sell this business for? You can sell it for £500,000, basically. 2x. So that's 480, round up to 500,000. If it's a really good brand with lots of potential, maybe even 3x, possibly 4x the yearly revenue profit. Sorry, so somewhere between 480,000 and £1 million. So yeah, if you can make £20,000 a month in a private label business, guys, and it's a good brand that has potential for growth, and it's showing growth as well. That's the other thing as well. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I'm being fairly simplistic. You can sell that for £500,000, okay? So that's mind-blowing, okay? So what you've now, but it's going to take a while to build up. It's going to take a long time to get to £20,000 a month. But we've now transitioned ourselves into a slower business model that's got a bigger payout. What else I'm going to do? I'm going to do software. Again, same thing. It takes ages to build up software. It costs a lot of money to get started. You know, paying software engineers, they're expensive. 50, 60, 70,000 pounds a year to hire a software engineer, a good one. Sometimes even more. You know, building up software takes time to get customers, all this kind of stuff like that. But if you get a decent software that's making, again, let's say £20,000 a month, okay, profit, £240,000 a year. Well, let's round up to 250. Now, software companies go for way bigger multiples. That is probably worth, you know, I don't know, like well, again, let's just say in a 4x multiple, basically. So then you can sell that for £1 million. We've got some interesting Alfa Romeos on the left here. 2 yellow Alfa Romeos. Yeah, so again, that's another plan. It's a slower business model, but with a bigger payout. So those are two, and then in theory, wholesale is a bit of a hybrid in between both. Because I feel like if you get a really good wholesale Amazon business going, especially if you can put some direct brand deals into that could be valuable to sell potentially. But I'm not that knowledgeable about that. But yeah, so that's essentially, we're going further down the pyramid here. We've gone from the fast, easy money to the slower money, but bigger payout at the end. Hope you can still make some good money monthly, but it's all about that big payout. That's the goal of these businesses. You can make a good income from it. It can even be your business for 5, 10, 15 years. But hey, are you going to turn down a £1 million, £2 million purchase offer for it? I don't think so. Maybe you would, I don't know. So there's that. Okay, cool. And then, okay, right. Let's say you did your private label business. Okay, cool. And you got paid out, let's say £500,000, all right? You got paid out £500,000. As long as you've done your things right, you should only pay 10% tax on that, because you get the entrepreneurial relief, which is another thing as well. The rich get richer, guys. Anyway, then let's just forget about that. So you get £500,000, right? What do you do with that £5,000? Well, you put it further down the pyramid into what is essentially safer and way slower money, but more reliable. So you put that £500,000 in, you can put it in stocks and shares, an index fund, guys, not individual funds. Don't go and put it into actual like Facebook or whatever individual funds you want to do. Put it into an index fund. Index funds on average go up like 8 to 10% a year on average. You can put the money into property and get some rental income. I suppose you could buy another business if you wanted, but that's more on the same tier as what you've just sold. But yeah, essentially you put that into more, you put it into pension if you want, if you really wanted to. You can, I don't know what else you do with it really. Yeah, anyway, that kind of like, you essentially put it into a very slow but more reliable income. And you'll notice the further you go down, the less sort of ROI you're getting on a yearly basis. So we've gone from like Amazon, FBA, doing OARA, where you can turn your £10,000, you can churn it like 4 or 5 times a year, essentially let's say 100% ROI in a year, to a slightly slower model where you're probably going to get 50% ROI a year, to a very slow model where you might only make 10% a year, but it's much more safe, much more reliable. And then once you've done that, you sold your business, you can then, I don't know, you can either teach people how to do it, it would be another business you could do, you could then start another private label business if you wanted, and again, go through the whole process again. But yeah, that's essentially what my plans are, essentially, is to do all those things. Now, I've added one extra thing into here as well, at the top of the pyramid, and that is social media as well, and building up my own online brand of FBA Mogul. So that is my online persona, my online brand. That is something I'm building up as well. But, guys, and I'd put this into the category of the top of the pyramid. This is the fast and not easy money at all. It's not fucking easy in any way, any stretch of the imagination. But in fact, it's not even fast either. It's bloody slow, actually. But, so I don't know where it comes on the pyramid, actually. But I'm working on it. I guess, in theory, it's slower. It can make some good money in the long run, but again, the problem is I can't sell it. It's FBA Mogul's tied to me, so the only way I could ever expand this business is to hire other people into it to do videos for me. And I don't know if you guys have heard of like Dave Ramsey before. His guy's I don't really like him that much, but he does some okay videos about finance. Basically, he's got a podcast. And people ring up and say, I'm in 50 grand of debt, what should I do? And he's like, oh, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. He helps people get out of debt and all that kind of stuff, basically. He's like, eat beans and rice, save all your money, get yourself out of debt. He's got I actually quite like, he's got a method called the snowball method for getting out of debt, which is basically pay off your lowest debt first and then go through, anyway, whatever. You guys can search them yourself. Anyway, he had he's worth tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions now. But one thing he was talking about was like his brand of Dave Ramsey, of him being on this podcast, answering questions, essentially would, if he kicked his clogs, that brand would die because there's no more Dave Ramsey anymore. So then he started thinking, well, what I need to do is start building up the Dave Ramsey brand around other people as well. So he started to rope in his daughter as well and other people to help out, so that if he did kick his clogs, that entire brand, even though Dave Ramsey's gone, you know, that brand can still continue. So that's something, I don't know, this is years in the future for me, but could I then turn FBA Mogul into, you know, maybe I could rebrand it as FBA Moguls, and then from there get other people running the business for me, where I don't need to be on the camera. Other people are on the camera doing videos and things like that. I don't know. That's something to think about anyway, but that's another kind of thing I'm building. I'm going against my own advice here. I'm doing too many businesses at once. But for me, I get bored if I do the same thing over and over. So while it's not something I advise people to do, it's just something I do because it keeps me interested. Anyway, so those are my sort of long-term-ish plans. I've gone way more into depth on that. And yeah, guys, my end goal is to try and get to like a net worth of like between £2 and £5 million, basically. So, and you'll get to see that journey on this channel. So, yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I've got no doubt I'm going to get there, guys. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident. But yeah, but there's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I should ramble on more about this. I've been going on for ages. But yeah, I'll just mention one more thing before we go. I'm a big fan of this book called The Millionaire Next Door, and everything I've just talked about, and you should go and listen to it, listen to it or read it. It's a bit dated, but it's really good. In there, they talk about offense and defense. Now, everything I've just talked about is offense, making money, essentially. You also need good defense, saving money, investing it. So, if you go and buy a Lambo with your 500 grand that you've still got from your business, cool, great. But that's a depreciating asset that's not going to make you any more money, which is stupid. Now, I'm all for treating yourself. I don't say live like a pauper. You've got to treat yourself here and there, but don't waste your money, basically. Don't buy junk clothes and, Gucci and Armani and all this junk and stupid cars and whatever. So that's another aspect that comes into building wealth, guys, is you need good offense, but you also need good defense. There's no point making £1 million a year if you're spending 1.1 million on your lifestyle. That makes you poorer than someone who works at McDonald's at minimum wage. No offense to anyone who works at McDonald's at minimum wage. I did when I was younger, so nothing against that. But yes, that's something to think about. A neurosurgeon who's top of his field that makes £1 million a year is broker, who makes £1 million a year but spends £1.1 million, so he's got a negative £100,000 a year, on his balance sheet, is poorer than someone who makes £20,000 a year but can save £5,000 of it. So just something to think about, guys. It's not all about the offense. The defense is important as well. The saving is important, and how you spend your money is super important. So yeah, and then I don't know. I've rambled on a lot, but I don't know. Hopefully you guys have found it interesting anyway. I don't know. But for me, this is all a game, I was just thinking the other day, I'm trying to build my own little personal empire, basically. And it's like a video game for me, where you try and level up your character. Except I'm trying to level up with wealth and other things. Multiple businesses and multiple income streams and things like that. To me, it's just like a video game, and keeps it interesting. So, and yeah, I enjoy it, guys. That's the main thing as well. You've got to enjoy what you do. I do have ups and downs, by the way. Past few days, actually, I've been feeling quite depressed. I don't know why. Actually, kind of weird, but it's weird because I don't know. Anyway, who knows why it is? We always get these ups and downs. But yeah, feeling better now, guys, don't worry. So yeah, but yeah, past few days I was feeling a bit down. I don't know why, but yeah, for me it's all the video game. I do enjoy what I do. Sometimes I do get depressed about it or down about it or whatever. Maybe it's because I lost that replay and I was like, oh, it sucks. You know, I've lost £5,000 a month, 60 grand a year, whatever, from my, you know, thing. I don't know what it was, basically. But anyway, enjoy what you do. I enjoy what I do, which is why I work so hard on it. But for me, I do get bored if I do one thing over and over, which is why I do the FBA, I do the software, I do the YouTube. That kind of keeps me interested, doing those kind of three things at once. But yeah, just think of it as a game, guys. Enjoy the process. Set some goals. Work hard towards them. Not everyone wants to be a full-time FBA'er. Not everyone wants to have a full-time business. Some people enjoy having that full-time salary and security from that. That's all good. We're all wired differently. For me, there's nothing better than working for yourself. There are definite downsides, though. Absolute definite downsides. But yeah, overall, it's an awesome thing, and my goal is just to help you guys do this. So anyway, let's wrap that up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Join my Discord group, guys, if you're not already in it. If you want to get into Amazon FBA and you want to fast track it really quickly, you know, get going as fast as possible or scale your business, I do coaching, £100 an hour, one-on-one coaching. If you want to do that, you don't have to, though. You can just come into my Discord and ask questions, but obviously, you know, it won't be as good as a one-on-one session. But that's fine. You don't have to pay me. You can come and ask me questions, and I answer most of them for free. You know, well, I do for free, but don't ask me what I sell. You know, I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, pretty much everything else I'll answer, though. And yeah, guys, hope you really enjoyed this video. Hopefully, if you're doing prep or something, this kept you interested the entire time. And hopefully, more importantly, this video has inspired you to better yourself. Do a business, do FBA, build up multiple streams of income, get into social media and YouTube, document your FBA journey, guys. People are interested in that kind of stuff. And yeah, anyway, guys, as always, like, comment, subscribe, peace.